Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So even though the government is still shut down, we are still going to be announcing the Social Security upcoming cost of living adjustment increase on Friday this week. That is going to be coming out tomorrow. And so we're going to be covering everything that you need to know as far as the cost of living adjustment goes. Plus, it looks like there could potentially be an increase of $6,500 for all Social Security beneficiaries. We're going to be breaking down what could change as well if Republicans and Democrats are able to pass a new bill that happens to be bipartisan. But before we go ahead and dive into for today, if you would like to receive up to $200 in free stock or $200 in free cash, in a pinned comment below, I will be leaving a link to Robinhood. All you have to do is once you click on that link is just sign up for a free account and then simply link your bank account. You do not even have to make an opening deposit. At that point in time, Robinhood will be sending you one free stock worth all the way up to $200. And if you'd rather just have the cash, all you have to do is once you receive the free stock is just sell it for what it's worth and then transfer the cash value right back to your bank account. Okay, so diving right into for today. So we are still in a government shutdown, but of course it is not going to impact the release of the cost of living adjustment other than it getting pushed back from the 15th when it was originally supposed to be published by the Social Security Administration and the Bureau of Labor Statistics back to the 24th. So once again, that is going to be coming out on Friday this week, but we are still in a government shutdown. So first, this article here from Fox News, they say that Trump says Schumer, Senate Democrats holding government hostage with the shutdown. He says we will not be extorted. So President Donald Trump said on Tuesday that Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and Senate Democrats are, quote, holding the entire federal government hostage during the shutdown, vowing that we will not be extorted on this crazy plot of theirs. Now, Trump, speaking during a lunch at the White House Rose Garden, said that Chuck Schumer and the Senate Democrats need to vote for the clean, bipartisan CR and reopen our government. It's got to be reopened right now. He said, quote, they are obstructionists. And the reason they're doing it is because we're doing it so well. We're doing well all over the world. The president described Schumer as a politician who is in deep trouble and losing in all the polls. He said he's even losing to AOC +3, Trump said, referring to Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and the other members of the Progressive Squad. And the government shutdown is now on its 21st day. Actually, it's 23rd day now. He said you can call it the Schumer shutdown or the Democrat shutdown, Trump said on Tuesday. You can call whatever you want, and I will say this, that we have Darth Vader. You know Darth Vader, right? The president said in reference to Office of Management and Budget Director Russell Vought. They call him Darth Vader. I call him a fine man, but he's cutting Democrat priorities, and they're never going to get them back. So we will have to wait and see. Now, basically, the main fight right now between Republicans and Democrats is whether or not they are going to extend the Obamacare subsidies. Now, the problem with this, if they don't extend these subsidies, whenever people go to renew their health care coverage through Obamacare, what they're going to see is their premiums increasing. It's going to vary based on income and other factors, but as you can see up there on the screen, this is pretty much just estimates of what would happen if the enhanced tax credits do end up expiring. So for someone with a household income of $18,000, they would see an increase of $378 on an annual basis. And someone at the max, someone receiving $45,000 per year, in their case, they would see an annual dollar increase of $1,836. So this is going to be quite substantial. If we do see these increases taking place, there's going to be a lot of pressure on Republicans and Democrats to work out a deal. And once again, we're still in a government shutdown. We have Republicans playing chicken with the Democrats, Democrats playing chicken with the Republicans. Who is going to blink here? But with that said, leave your thoughts and comments below. Who are you personally blaming for the shutdown? Are you blaming the Republican Party or are you blaming the Democratic Party? Leave your thoughts and comments below on that. Now, of course, also coming up later this week is the announcement of the inflation numbers for the month of September. Once we have those, we'll also be able to calculate what the cost of living adjustment increase is going to be for all Social Security beneficiaries next year in 2026. That is going to be quite huge. So according to the Motley Fool. They say that because of the shutdown, the BLS was not able to produce a CPI reading for September, which is the last piece of the puzzle needed to figure out 2026 COLA. But the agency has also said that it expects to have that data ready on October 24th, at which point the SSA should be in a position to announce a COLA shortly thereafter. What this means is that seniors on Social Security may not have to wait much longer to get that important news, but it's also important to recognize that no matter what 2026 COLA amounts to, it may not be enough. And that is because basically what they use to calculate the cost of living adjustments every single year, the CPIW for short, or the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers, is pretty much incorrectly calculating what inflation should be, at least for those who spend their dollars like someone who receives Social Security does, mostly on healthcare in different ways than what someone currently in the workforce who might be 30 years old. It just makes sense. Someone who is 60, 70, 80 years old is going to spend their money a lot differently than someone in their 20s, 30s, or even 40s. So why they're using an inflation metric for someone currently in the workforce a little bit younger for Social Security, it just does not make sense at all. So because of that, over your lifetime, you're actually missing out on thousands of dollars in benefits. This is according from the Senior Citizens League, at least. So they say that Social Security's 2026 cost of living adjustment has been delayed to Friday, October 24th due to complications arising from the government shutdown. And the new analysis from TSCL shows the average senior who retired in 1999 has lost nearly $5,000 in Social Security payments as a result of the government using the wrong price index to calculate the cost of living adjustments. And someone who retired in 2024 may potentially miss out on right around $12,038.05 in payments because they are using the CPIW instead of the CPIE. Now, we do have Congress. Congress in the past, and even this year, they have introduced bills in DC that would actually change the metric and how they calculate the cost of living adjustments from the CPIW over to the CPIE. But for whatever reason, they're not able to get this done. They're not able to vote on it. They're not able to pass it, even though we have members on both sides of the aisle who want to get this done. The gridlock in Washington is too much to get it done. We hope very soon they can, because if they are able to switch that over to the CPIE, big things can happen for Social Security. You can finally start to keep up with inflation at least a little bit better than what we currently are. So I actually asked this question to ChatGPT: how much more would someone receive in Social Security benefits if they started receiving $2,000 a month? This is the average, and they received Social Security for 15 years. That would be about the average lifespan of someone, started receiving Social Security at the age of 67, and then they lived to 82. That would be a little bit over the average lifespan for an American. Right now it's right around 77, 78, so it would be a few years longer. And then they also changed the COLA calculation to the CPIE instead of the CPIW. They say that to estimate how much more someone would receive in Social Security benefits over 15 years if their monthly benefit of $2,000 were escalated by the inflation index, consumer price index for the elderly, instead of the index actually used, which is the CPIW. We need to make some assumptions because historical annual differences vary. So first off, what differences to assume between CPIE and CPIW? So research suggests that CPIE would on average give slightly higher inflation than CPIW, but the difference is actually quite small. So from one study from 1984 through 2006, we saw a CPIE would have been 3.35% versus the CPIW on average being 3.02%. Then another study using CPIE instead of CPIW would increase expected average COLA by about 0.2 percentage points per year. So a reasonable assumption would be to have a 0.25% increase using CPIE rather than CPIW. So if we use this, they say that hence if someone started at $2,000 a month and received benefits for 15 years, switching the COLA basis to CPIE with the assumed 0.25% annual advantage would yield roughly $6,800 to $7,000 more in total benefits over the 15 years. So if Democrats and Republicans are able to come together and switch that method in which they figure the cost of living adjustments from the CPIW over to the CPIE, you'll be receiving an increase of close to right around $7,000 more over the lifespan of receiving Social Security. So this would be pretty huge, at least a pretty good start to reforming Social Security in a good way. Now leave your thoughts and comments below. What do you think about switching that over to the CPIE? Is this something that you would be for, something that you're against? Any other ideas you have, leave your thoughts and comments below. But that's all we have for today's video, and I will see you in the next one.